Welcome to Wildly Wed, the real wedding planning podcast. I'm Keshira from Keshira Creative Events.
And I'm Vicky from On Ceremonies.
And we're here today with Hannah from Whimsy's Wedding Floral Design. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you.
So before we chat to Hannah, just to tell you a bit about what Wildly Wed podcast is, we are here for real wedding planning, real couples wanting to do their wedding their way. We are not going to tell you exactly what you should do, but we'll give you some hints and tips as to what we think helps out along the way.
Exactly.
So, hi, Hannah. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, it's really lovely to see you. And just to start us off, really, tell us about your journey. How did you become a wedding florist or a wedding floral designer?
So it all started, I think, about 12 or 13 years ago. I went to college in Chichester, so nice and local.
Oh, nice.
Although actually it was a Brinsbury campus. But we did floristry there for 2 years. So I studied it and learned how to build horrible things with flowers. Wasn't necessarily what I do now. It's very, very different. Education in floristry is wildly different from
Really?
Yeah, it's
So when
very-
you say like build horrible things, what do you mean? Like,
I know, I'm intrigued.
What did you build?
So you learn about the colour wheel and line and things like that. So I remember distinctly a bit of PTSD from gerbers, which I don't really use that much because of it, where we had to do like a line of them, and we used things like little diamante pins in the middle and folded leaves, and it was just
Hey.
real yummy stuff.
Yeah. Not your
Oh,
thing.
no. But you're doing it like any college course to pass a course.
Of
So
course.
you learn how to use the mechanics and things and learn all that sort of stuff. So it's great learning, but I feel like totally relevant to the industry. So personally, I would recommend going to learn with a florist or floral designer.
Right, actually in the industry, get out there, get hands on.
Yeah.
Oh, but you studied. So you
did.
learned it,
So
you
that was the
studied it.
start of your journey. Where did that take you?
So naively at 18, I thought, I can do my own business. So that was my own business round one, shall we say. Didn't go well because I was 18 and didn't know what I was doing.
That's so brave to even start it. That's
you.
really exciting.
Yeah, I think I've always had a sort of tenacity in me to sort of do my own thing, do it my way. I think I just get really excited by ideas and just want to run with them.
I know the feeling.
You do. But also, there's no such thing as a sort of failed endeavour, I don't think.
No.
Whatever you learnt in that process of phase one will have been invaluable to you in phase two.
Absolutely. So I realised I didn't like retail. That's where it came in.
Excellent.
So retail's not for me. So I went off to do all sorts of other things. I did some film work. I worked in the greens team, so we did plant kind of things. I also grew up, forgot to say, on my parents' the family nursery, so they grow plants and things. Hence going to floristry. It's always going to be that kind of thing.
So you had a really grassroots knowledge.
Absolutely.
Oh, is
love
that?
that. Great.
Oh gosh, no, I am so sorry. That was completely unintentional. I'm sorry. I shall hang my head in shame.
So, family, obviously, you've grown up on the nursery, you're aware of that. But the film stuff, what did you mean green?
Yeah, so Greens team is basically anybody that has anything to do with like the plants on a film. So one of the really big ones, which I'm very proud of, was Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson. So I drove out to London every day. It would nearly killed me doing it, driving from Chichester. And we made the giant gardens, the topiary gardens,
Oh, I know,
Rosebush. Yeah. So actually it's made out of giant polystyrene, and we went along and poked in little bits of buckless for 2 weeks. And then the special effects team came around and sprinkled it with snow, and that was my job. So it's nothing crazy, but it was
So
quite cool.
you were there literally making the set.
Yeah. In the massive soundstage, it was amazing. You couldn't take photos. They had cameras on you the whole time, recording you and making sure you weren't filming anything.
That's
With a little
so
vest. But I didn't know until I turned up what film I was going to be on. So it just turned up and I was like, oh my God, it's Beauty and the Beast. It was so cool. We went around and saw all the other sets. I didn't meet any of the actors because they weren't filming yet. But
That's so fun, though.
cool. It was a great experience, but made me also realise a lot of learning curves here in my journey, that I don't want to work in an industry where it's so wasteful, because at the end of the days, for copyright, they can't keep anything that they've made because somebody else could make lots of money from our work, essentially. So they just chuck it all away, and that broke my heart because that soundstage was just like all polystyrene. Incredible. Those people that make sculptures out of polystyrene, wow. But just slightly broke my heart a little bit. So
No, understandable, actually. I completely.
So yeah, I did lots of other films. I worked with the Chai Uni, did production design, art department there. So just kind of built my way up on indie things. We did some really cool stuff with the university, really good, just really fun things really. And then worked in retail a little bit more at the florist shop in Chichester, one that was called Rococo Florist.
Okay. Yeah.
So they were amazing to work for. They had such a good style, and I just learned loads through them. And just went through that sort of journey, did a bit of childcare, nannying, and then lockdown, and that's when Whimsy's was born. Good old lockdown businesses, hey?
We've had a couple of those.
That's
on our
me.
pod.
Yeah.
And to an extent me as well. I think, it's really interesting. I think the more creative we are, perhaps.
Yeah.
Lockdown was a time to go, oh, what can I do?
Absolutely that. And also it gave us time, which we hadn't had, sort of hitherto. It gave us the time to sort of go, I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
Now, how do I go about doing it?
Yeah, and it was a time that you could do it slowly. You could start off, and I mean, I'm not sure if everyone was in the same position, but for me, I was sort of, I went back to my parents and everything with my partner, and so we didn't really have to make that much money, if you know what I mean.
Okay, you were
in that
able
sort
to
of sense.
play with.
Yeah, just started
ideas.
real slow. Again, started off with the retail. I did the thing called Hug in a Jar, where you sent a little card. It was in a jam jar, a little posy. I think it was £10 or something. It was really cheap. Hence why I didn't make any money and now just do weddings. Because driving around and delivering them, I was spending more money on fuel, really.
But it was a nice thing to do.
Oh, it was
Beautiful thing to do at a time when the world really needed
those
absolutely a hug in a jar.
Yeah, those messages were amazing. But I also then found out I was terrified of knocking on people's doors and be like, hello, I've got some flowers for you. So it's all, again, learning. And then I've sort of niched down into doing weddings only. So weddings and events, that is my love and my joy.
Love that. And so we were talking about whether you're a florist or a floral designer, and you're a floral designer. And actually, I can vouch for this because I have seen your designs. I have worked with you on weddings, and I'm not allowed to swear, but if I could, I would, because what you do is incredible. But talk us through, I guess, for couples that are looking to book, they're starting out on their planning journey.
What's the difference?
Yeah, what is the difference?
So I'd say a florist is more of your sort of everyday kind of florist, really, where they do a bit of everything. They do the bouquets, the bunches, the weddings, the funerals, everything, you can think of. Whereas I feel like a floral designer is more sort of honed in and niched down, and think about when they're designing something, they're essentially designing it's that word. They're thinking about the space, the light, the texture, the tables, what cutlery have you got, what glassware, tablecloths, napkins. It's taking all of that in consideration, and everything else that's going on, sort of, the dress of the bride, for example, what's the texture like? How big is it? Will the bouquet look this way with it? And like we did in lots of the spaces for the wedding, that huge, lovely, beautiful wedding we did, that took a lot of work to get there because we were designing.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And amazing. And things like, I know for that one, you looked at her veil. She had a hand embroidered veil. And so Hannah got to see that veil before anyone else got to see it, essentially, because wanted to make the flowers fit around it and the design work with it. So that's great. And it's really, I think when someone's starting out, couples don't know the difference.
Yeah.
It's really nice to talk through what that looks like.
Yeah. I also think it's someone who is sort of, what's the word? Oh, I totally lost my train of thought. Sorry.
That's okay. That's fine.
What was I going to say? I had a really good point then. Sorry.
That's all right.
Take time.
I know, I can't remember. It's totally gone. Never mind.
Okay.
Moving on.
Come back. Tell us a little bit about your process with a couple. So at what point should couples approach you and start thinking about their flowers? What's the timeline? And then where do you go from that first meeting? Do you do sort of like examples or what's the process?
So most couples, I mean, I'm happy for anybody to get in contact at any time. I have space in my diary for last minute weddings, and sometimes they're the juicy ones. And then I also have, a lot of people that book more a year or 18 months in advance. There's no written rule with anything, just whenever they get to it, really. It depends really what's most important to you. But I find the people who book earlier, either they need to focus on their budget, so they need to know what they're going to spend,
Sure.
or flowers are like a super priority. So they're hopefully usually in love with flowers, which is great to work with people who love flowers. But yeah, so they normally get in touch, hopefully via my website, because I have a lovely integrated form, which comes through to my CRM system. So it basically helps my scatter brain of creativeness work.
Which is so
Work
good. And I think, that's some ways, if that really works, it helps you kind of keep everything.
It makes sure that every couple, no matter what they're spending and where they are in their journey, they have the same customer journey all the way through, all exactly the same. And I know where I am. I have a workflow, so it sort of ticks off. It has, I could talk about this forever, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. But it has like timelines and things, and sends out emails automatically, so everybody knows where we are.
So from the couple's point of view, if you're looking to work with yourself, they know they're going to get like that, I guess, standardized.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be set because it's yours, you've set it up.
Yeah.
But they know where they are with
Yeah.
you. They know where they are in the process and on the journey.
Yeah, kind
Right?
of. But then, so they'll book in, we can book in a Zoom call. Normally everything's all initially Zoom, where we chat through everything, sort of I call it a wish list. This is the time to get all the ideas out.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
I like to say that because I don't want to scare people away and say, most people have a general kind of budget or max that they don't want to go over. So we talk about that. We talk about what flowers they might want, any details they have really. Some people, it's too early on and they just have no idea. So I'm just trying to squeeze any information out of them, like roughly how many guests, so I know how many tables, so things like that. And then
that's an important thing for you, is knowing the size of the wedding.
Yeah, so the scale of it all round.
How many bridesmaids, how many groomsmen, how many bridal party or wedding party, I guess.
Yeah, and location. I need to know the date. I need to know where you're getting married. That's quite important. And roughly a time would be great. Ish. We can get to that later down the line. But so usually we talk about it for about an hour ish, and then I make and design. This is where the design bit comes in. A sort of, I call it a wedding flower proposal quote. Nothing's ever short. Yeah. I have a tongue twister, but it's basically a huge document with colour palettes. It's got flower choices on there, and then it goes through. It's very image heavy because I work better visually than a bunch of writing that no one's ever really going to read. But I break it all down.
That's what you want to see with flowers.
It's better to show than tell, really, with flowers.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So do all the la-di-da, make it all look pretty, say what we're going to have where, put lots of inspiration pictures. Sometimes I sketch things and draw things, or do a digital mock-up if they want to see what the cutlery is going to look like.
I've seen your sketches, and it is lovely because when we were working on a wedding last year together, we had to figure out how many bud vases we could fit on the table. And there was a lot of food at this wedding. And so it was feasting dishes. So we had to look at how many dishes, what size were the dishes, and Hannah's drawing all these different ways that we could make these flowers. And we ended up going with like bigger designs along the table and bud vases as well.
Gosh, that's sort of almost like a Tetris puzzle, really, where you kind of lock everything together.
Drawing things out, and then we're scrapping bits and coming back and changing things, and there's a lot of back and forth. But actually, I can't draw. Like, that isn't something that I'm good at. So working alongside a supplier, a florist, floral designer who can design what we're talking about is really valuable. I can pull together images, and I do create mood boards, I do create that. But having a designer on board...
It's a different level, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. And I think for most couples, that's the bit. A lot of couples I work with find the creation and the visualization quite challenging. So
to have somebody that can do that, that's
it's
a real
very
boon,
different
actually.
to just asking your local florist for a bunch of flowers for your bouquet.
Yeah.
There are a million things in between.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love working with you and I love what you do. So I might be biased, but I think, if people are looking for a way to really help.
Yeah. If flowers are important to them, I think like going that extra mile with someone who is really passionate about it, then why not? Like, just like with you guys,
Yeah.
you love what you do, and you're niche down, and you do your planning and everything, and styling, which is great. And it's I think it's working with people who have that passion and know what they're doing.
I think that's really
invaluable, really.
Yeah.
And just thinking for people like myself that are I'm not very good at seeing things in my head. So when I go and talk about something like flowers, I'm a bit clueless. So what do you do with people like me who turn up and say, I want it to look gorgeous, but I actually haven't got a Scooby?
Don't know what that means.
translates. Yeah, absolutely.
So I normally always say, please send me a picture, or if you've got a Pinterest board link of anything of the flowers that you are drawn to. And people always just send through a couple of bits, because normally everyone's had a little look online, and you'd be so surprised what people think are wild flowers.
Oh,
It's
really?
so different. Everybody thinks gypsophilia. No hate to gypsophilia, but the little white fluffy kind of ones.
We've talked about gypsophilia today already.
We're not massive fans. I think we can be out on that.
Yeah.
I like en masse. I like anything where there's loads of it. I think really cool.
Yeah.
Can look really modern, but when it's sprinkled in with the jam jars, it's like Granny's done it. No offense to Granny, but yeah, it can just look a bit dated. There's so many wonderful flowers out there. Every season there's new flowers, and right now spring is my favourite time of year.
Yeah.
It's so exciting, and I just think, if you can as I was saying, going back to it, totally lost train of thought again. If you can send some sort of visual, then I'll be able to pull out flowers from that you might be drawn to. Like I have a bride who keeps looking at daisy-shaped flowers, and every single picture is just like, I love that. I'm like, what is it that you love about it? And it's like, they just love that kind of happy, kind of childhood reminiscent kind of flower.
So it's a feeling, actually.
Yeah.
It's actually nailing down. It's the feeling that you like. So then that gives you something to run with and go, right, if you like how that makes you feel, that sense of happiness, let's look at X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that sort of psychology involved in there.
I really like
didn't
that.
realise that either.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm storing up so many questions for you, Hannah. Like in my mind, I'm like, I want to ask, is there like a minimum spend to work with a floral designer or work with yourself, or how does that work?
So I think everyone's different. Everyone works differently. But personally, I have a minimum spend because there's only so many weekends in the year, especially in the flower season, that I'm available. I don't want to do a million weddings every weekend.
I completely,
one, maybe two a week, but because I want to give my absolute full to these couples. And I basically work by myself, and then I have a wonderful team who help me, my freelance team. So they help me and I pay them, and that's great. But so it's basically me. So I want to just give them my all, with just being me, really. So
cool. And growing flowers.
Yeah.
Do you grow? Do you buy? Do you where do flowers come from? Because, I'm going to take this back because I get a lot from the ground. From the ground. Thanks, Vicky.
Welcome.
That's why she's here. I get a lot of people talking about DIY flowers, and I put a post on Instagram recently about DIY flowers, and I think people, like myself and my husband, when we planned to get married, thought, it'd be lovely if we grow our own, that'd be amazing. And we did that, and the stem's really weak, they weren't long enough, they were beautiful colours, but it wasn't enough flowers, things like that. But I think people don't know how to get flowers if they want to do some elements of DIY and whether you can. And I guess we do every single episode, we talk about a DIY tip and a sustainability tip. So I wondered what your tip would be for DIY.
So for DIY, I would say don't take on too much. I think it can get very stressful.
I agree. That's the bit that I forgot to say.
Especially with
don't
flowers.
do it.
Yeah.
That's your DIY tip.
I just think flowers, they seem easy to DIY because you can pop them in a bud vase or a jam jar, whatever, put them on the table, amazing, done. But they are a dying product. As soon as they are picked, they are slowly dying. And it's about knowing the timing, because each flower is different. I could talk about this forever. But knowing which one will look its best at what time and how you treat that. When you cut daffodils, which is a top tip for the flowers I brought for you today, the sap that comes out of them is poisonous to other flowers. So if you mix them with other flowers, it will kill them. Yes. So you don't want to do that. Yeah.
Every day is a school day with Wildly Wed.
Love that.
Little top tip there. So top tip for doing your own wedding flowers, I would say do a small amount. Do something that means a lot to you, but leave the big installations to the experts, really.
So if, for instance, your granddad grows roses, cut a few from the garden and keep them cool and display them perhaps on the table that you're having your ceremony in the ceremony room. But then leave the rest to the expert.
Yeah, maybe choose one area, a small area or something. I guess it's all communication. If your granddad is growing lovely roses, I'm happy to go cut them. I'm happy to go in and do that sort of thing. Because I can sort of see if they're too blown open, they won't last 5 minutes. So hopefully I'll be able to cut them a bit earlier. So happy to work in collaboration. It's all about communication, I think.
Okay, I love that. I think, I definitely learnt. I had a floral designer by my side for my wedding, but I wanted to do a bit, and we did do a little bit, but we took on too much. And I would urge every couple to just do a small amount and then get a really good professional that knows what they're doing, because it makes a big difference. And when you see what floral designers can do in weddings,
and especially if flowers are, as you said, you have those couples for whom flowers are right up at the top of the list of priorities. So if you know that, it's just crazy to then think, oh, but I can do it cheaper myself.
Yeah, so a big difference.
Can you though?
A big difference is if you can do it cheaper, that means you're buying a cheaper product. It's like going to, I don't know if you can say brands. Can you say brands on this podcast?
Yeah.
It's like going to a cheaper supermarket, let's say that, then there may be more fancy supermarket or even a farmer's market. So as a florist or floral designer, we have access to so many flowers from the sort of Dutch market or even other growers locally, which I do grow a few myself. But
sorry, I did ask that.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
So you do grow some yourself?
I do, not loads, because that's a whole nother job on its own, but I can't help but get my fingers in that soil. So I need to be growing a little bit on the side. That's where you get those wibbly wobbly stems, and they do really beautiful things and move and look amazing and light, and they look wonderful. So being able to get those kind of unusual ones, but a lot of growers locally are sort of growing those amazing things. There's a really cool company that are doing it all eco-friendly, which is great. So
tell me about that. Who are they and what are they doing?
They're called Featherstone Flowers, and they grow flowers. They also do a bit of floristry on the side. They're more, I don't know exactly where they are, so I might have to Google them.
Fine, but what's we'll get onto your sustainability tip, but what's eco-friendly about what they're doing? Because to be honest, I find it a challenge. Weddings, we talk about, Vicky and I, a lot. They generally aren't the most sustainable.
It's really difficult to have sustainable weddings.
Yeah, but floristry is one of the areas that when people talk sustainability in weddings, I don't know always what the answer is.
Yeah, so I personally use some of my own, and then which is obviously grown on my doorstep from seed most of the time, some local growers, and then top it up with the Dutch market. So that's the Holland, the Amsterdam, sort of that Holland bit. Amazing flowers. We don't actually have enough land in this country to grow enough flowers to sustain the whole of the wedding industry.
Yeah, okay.
So you cannot get them all. There's amazing companies out there. Smith & Wesson, they grow tulips and they are wonderful. They also do like all the really cool frilly ones and parrot ones, which are like doubles.
Yeah.
Really amazing. So yeah, other companies that I use, some of them are like the aftercare of flowers, if you want to call it that. Yeah. So we used it for our wedding, actually, the one that we did together. I use them every single wedding if I can. London Confetti Club.
Yes.
And they recycle petals and make them into confetti. So
and anyone can access that, can they?
They
That's
can.
Not just trade.
Yeah. So they are getting more picky with what they take on, because sometimes people just send them a box of stinky stems, and that's not so nice. So I don't blame them. But all their profits go to charity, but they clear up from like Chelsea Flower Show and things like that. So
it's a massive sustainable initiative.
Yeah.
So you're done with your flowers, end of the wedding.
Yeah.
What a lovely
You, as the florist, will come and collect those flowers from the wedding, package them up, send them over to the confetti club, and they will
recycle them. But also try and give as many flowers as I can back to the couple, because essentially they've bought the flowers, they're their flowers. So even if the couple are going off on honeymoon, sometimes mums or dads, parents, friends, family, they want to keep the flowers and fill their house, because why wouldn't you? So I always go back, dismantle everything, because I like to reuse my chicken wire and all the wonderful things that I have collected / ordered.
So there's an element of recycling.
Absolutely, yeah. So I give it all back as bunches, all wrapped in paper. So they're all just there ready for them to take home, which is nice, because a lot of people travelled far. So
Lovely.
And can we talk about Oasis?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say Oasis? Can we talk about
Floral foam.
floral foam?
Floral foam.
Okay. Annie, can we talk about floral
We
foam?
can. How long is your episode?
Not too long.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you use it?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's not great for the environment. They are really trying to bring out biodegradable ones, but essentially at the moment most of them all turn into like little microplastics. It's full of chemicals. I don't know if you ever used it, but if you cut it, the dust, it's like
It's
green,
horrendous.
not good for your lungs. It's almost like in pottery when they sanding down anything, that dust is really bad for you as well. See my other creative sides coming out here. So I try not to use it, but there are some venues out there, really old historic houses, where they only allow you to use it to keep the integrity of things, like, I don't know, a beautiful old piano that you might be putting flowers on. They only let you do it in Oasis. So luckily I don't come across that too often. So most of my designs are in water or moss or mossages or any sort of vessel or vase. So everything we did for that wedding, the big one, was all even arches and things. I just use giant picks with water, and it's a lot of work. It's much harder.
Absolutely. But
it's better for the
it does offset things. For sure. And I could listen to you all day, but for couples who are looking and wedding planning at the moment, where can they find you?
So they can find me on my website, which is www.whimsies.co.uk, and then on social media, so Instagram and TikTok, is Whimsy's Floral Design.
Love that. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us today. Again, I've got so many questions. We could go on for hours. Maybe we'll have to go again.
Part 2.
But thank you. And we've been Wildly Wed, the Real Wedding Planning Podcast. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, and online wildlywedpod.co.uk, on Instagram @wildlywedpod. Thank you so much.
Thank you.